In Paraguay, candidates and political organizations held their last campaign events ahead of next Sunday's general elections. In Donetsk, People's Republic, local authorities reported seven fatalities after a missile hit a bus. A Turkish evacuation plane was fired at in Sudan, with the Sudanese army claiming the paramilitary rapid support forces were responsible. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. In Paraguay, candidates and political organizations held their last campaign event ahead of next Sunday's general elections. The country has entered the final stretch of the presidential and legislative elections to be held next Sunday, April 30, with more than 4,700,000 voters registered in the electoral rolls. The elections will have at least 9,000 candidates for positions in the different governments and legislative bodies. During the day, the new president of the Republic and the vice president will be elected for a 5-year term.
Well, the first action we are going to take is to make decisions that first of all concern development policy, energy policy, development of the countryside. We have a lot to do, a policy to recover and return the money stolen from the people, a policy that can really recover our democracy, which today is threatened by organized crime.
And the distribution of the electoral material for the Sunday's general elections continues in Paraguay as a ban on all political propaganda comes into effect as of Friday, April 28. The Electoral Justice Court said that the distribution of the electronic ballot boxes and other electoral materials continue in all the districts of the country, but land, water, and air. They also announced that as of this Friday, the electoral ban will be in effect, and therefore all types of political advertisements and proselytizing will be suspended. Argentina's Vice President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner confirmed on Thursday during an event with supporters that she will not run for the presidential elections in October. At the Argentine Theater of La Plata, Cristina gave a conference on the 20th anniversary of the elections of Néstor Kirchner as president. There, she criticized the dollarization proposal and called for not repeating the failures of the past.
Look, no. President, no. Look, it is not. Here, it is not by chance that the only political leader who was condemned, banned, disqualified, and tried to be assassinated even is only one. It is necessary to go back to building government programs. It is necessary that nothing becomes dependent on one person.
Argentina's Vice President Cristina Fernández also warned about the risk of the nation entering a political loop in which the past appears again in the present, with figures and ideas that seems to come from the past to the present to condition the future.
I say and continue to maintain that the agreement signed with the IMF is inflationary because it is necessary to revise, but not to not pay it. Nobody says that we do not have to pay beyond the discussion over rates, etc. What we fundamentally want is that the conditions be revised. It is like a circular Argentina that goes back to its old fantasies and failures. Please, I'm not saying that we are right, but don't try to convince me that we have to go backwards to solve this present and the future. No, please.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva on Friday attended the closing ceremony of the Terra Livre camp in the capital, Brasilia. Thousands of indigenous Brazilians came from all around the country to rally this week in Brasilia to demand the creation of new reserves under a central lands as part of the 19th Terra Libre Camp activities. The 2023 edition is the first since the return to power of the Latin American leader. Lula has expressed support for the expanding indigenous reserves, unlike his far-right predecessor Jair Bolsonaro, who have vowed to not yield one more centimeter. Let's take a very short break now, but remember you can now follow us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, in which you will be able to see news in different formats, news updates and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. On Friday, Bolivian lawmakers await with optimism the approval of the 219 for the purchase of gold intended to strengthen international reserves, according to an announcement made by the President of the Senate and Dronico Rodriguez. According to the head of the state, between Wednesday and Thursday of the next week, this bill will be discussed and possibly approved. Rodriguez anticipates that there is consensus in the majority of lawmakers for the movement towards Socialism Party. Also in Bolivia on Wednesday, the Financial System Supervisory Authority took over the Facile Bank for the bank was no longer honoring the obligations to its clients. For the over a month, Facile customers has been unable to withdraw money from their accounts, nor to use their credits and debit cards, although the bank had disposed of up $2.7 billion US.
The government has had to intervene to provide a definite solution to this problem, to either return the funds or to enable the banks involved in this definite solution process to manage the deposits as well as the bank's portfolio, in order to restore calm to the whole financial system. Because of this bank in particular, not that there are any problems with the rest of the financial system, so much so that we have decided to have other banks that are in good financial health to take over the assets and liabilities of this bank.
U.S. former Vice President Mike Pence appeared on Thursday for a federal investigative panel on the aftermath of the 2020 elections and the actions of them head of the White House, Donald Trump. Ex-President Trump tried to use the arguments that the events of the day are covered by the executive privilege and the right of presidents to keep confidential communications. This testimony marks a key moment in the criminal investigations and the first time in modern history that a vice president is forced to give arguments about the period he served. Pope Francis arrived in Hungary on Friday for a three-day visit to the European country. The plane carrying the leader of the Catholic Church, along with some 70 journalists, landed in Budapest shortly before 10 a.m. local time. The Pope's trip to Hungary is the first after he was hospitalized on March 28 for 3 days for bronchitis. In Donetsk People's Republic, local authorities reported 7 deaths on Friday after a missile hit a bus. According to preliminary reports, there is a minor among the dead. The acting Donetsk region's governor, Denis Pushlin, said that the central district of the capital were subjected to shelling by Ukrainian forces. According to the data of the Joint Center for Control and Coordination of War Crimes by Ukraine, Kiev force launched dozens of attacks on Donetsk throughout this Friday, April 28th, causing at least 17 casualties. Turkey has expressed the need for the West countries to fulfill Russia's requirements to keep the Black Sea grain deal alive. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said that the conditions on the agreement must be adhered to, and he said that it is necessary to be fair and to maintain balance. The head of the Turkish diplomacy cited as an example the arbitrary disconnection of the Russian bank from the SWIFT system, which affects the agreement pertaining to the export of Russian food, products and fertilizers. Authorities in China reported on Friday an incident involving the Philippines Coast Guard vessels that intrudes into its territorial water. The Chinese Foreign Ministry said two Philippines vessels intruded into the water of Reading Reef at a circular reef between China's Nasanda Island last April 23rd. He added that the Chinese ships took measures to avoid the dangerous approach of Philippine ships and prevent a collision. China's Foreign Ministry's spokeswoman Mao Ning said it was a premeditated and provocative action carried out by the Philippines patrol boat carrying journalists.
It was a premeditated and provocative action for the Philippine vessel to break into Rinay-Jia waters with reporters on board. The aim was to deliberately find fault and take the opportunity to exaggerate the incident. China expresses solemn protest and strong dissatisfaction, urged the Philippines to respect China's territorial sovereignty and maritime rights and interest in the South China Sea, and stop taking actions that complicate the situation.
teleSUR English continues to grow. You can now tune in from 33 different African countries through SARSAT. Dial 461 and join our Latin American alternative broadcast. One financial break and we'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back. Speedboat carrying at least 78 people sank in western Indonesia while rescuers remain searching for 9 people still missing in the Ronj Sea on Friday. According to the chief of the Pekanbaru Search and Rescue Agency, the Yoman Sidakara rescuers have retrieved 11 bodies, mostly women and children, and rescued 58 people so far, many of them unconscious after the drifting in the chopping waters for hours.
The initial report for the boat operator, there were 78 people on board, among them are 60 passengers with official tickets, 6 people without tickets, 6 boat crews and 6 additional passengers from Gonton port, making them 78 in total.
On Friday, a Turkish evacuation plane was forwarded in Sudan with the Sudanese army claiming the paramilitary rapid support forces were responsible. In this sense, Turkey Defense Ministry confirmed that no one was injured and the aircraft landed safely at Wadi Saijinat Airport north of Khartoum, where it was being checked. Meanwhile, Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar said efforts will continue to rescue Turkish citizens from Wadi Sendia and the city of Port Sudan on the Red Sea coast. Since the clashes between the army and the rapid support forces began 14 days ago, hundreds of people have been killed and tens of thousands forced from their homes. And the United Nations Refugees Agency has reported that nearly 50,000 people have fled Sudan the weeks the internal military conflict broke. Most of the refugees have fled to neighboring Chad and South Sudan. According to the UN agency, people have been forcibly displaced to neighboring countries since the start of the conflict between the army and the preliminary quick support force. In Burkina Faso, a new attack against the army left 33 soldiers dead on Friday, while 12 were wounded in the area of Ouagaru in the province of Gorma. In an state media, army stressed the intensity of the clashes and reported that about 40 terrorists were neutralized. It was also said that a transfer of reinforcements to the site allowed the evacuation of the wounded, who are currently being treated by health services. And now, shifting topics, on Thursday at the 2023 Alba Games, the Venezuelan delegation won 4 gold medals in karate. In the women's 68 kilograms committed, Venezuelan Maria Cuervo took the gold while Russia obtained silver. In the 55 kilogram category, the representative of Russia, Chernish Evana, was on the top of the podium, beating Cuban both Elise de la Caridad Torres, who obtained the silver, and Barbara Perez, along with Eulimar Linares, shared the bronze. So on the men's karate in the 84 kilograms category, Russian Koko Burov Konstantin won the gold medal after beating Nicaraguan Melvin Rodrigo Porta. And finally, in kata, Venezuelan Cliver Casanova won the gold medal. And we're still in karate, what we are going to the committee modality. In the women's under 50 kilograms division, the gold medal went to Venezuela's Jorgeli Salazar, as well as Lenin Becerra in the men's under 60 kilograms. On the other hand, in the women's under 61 kilograms division, the gold medal went to Russian Rodina Anna and her teammate Danila Mikhail-Lushenko, also climbed to the top of the podium in the under kilograms. And Venezuelan Oriana Rodriguez added one more gold medal for her country in the under 68 kilograms. And also, the Venezuelan women's national team won the gold medal in football after defeating Nicaragua 2-0. The final match of the football women's tournament was held at the Camurichico Stadium in La Guaira. The local team, led by coach Pamela Conti, defeated Nicaragua with 2 insane scores that came in the first half of the match. At the minute 31st, Angerlanis Higuera opened the scoreboard, and Marianela Jimenez, also 6 minutes before the halftime, scored a second goal to put a final score at 2-0 to secure the gold medals to the Venezuelan women's football. Finally, Nicaragua ended with silver, and Team Dominica obtained the bronze. The FIFA Alba Games see on Friday. They're the penultimate day in which athletics stands out by 15 finals. Venezuela leads the medal tally list by countries with the performances of its 2 teams, A and B, that has gained 193 gold medals, 199 silver medals, and 173 bronze. The Cuban delegation continues in second place with 56 gold medals, 44 silver, and 43 bronze medals. In only 2 days of competitions, the Russian athletes have accumulated 17 gold, 11 silver, and 3 bronze medals. Nicaragua and Bolivia are 4th and 5th in the medals tally, both nations with 6 gold medals. We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram as well. For Telesur English, I'm from the South, I'm Ana Marrero, and thank you for watching.